Hello guys, this is Sir Chris again. This video is for flyers to class, for both flyers to class. For flyers to see Tuesday and Thursday, this video is for Thursday 26th, Thursday March 26th. So please do it on Thursday. For flyers to be Monday and Friday, this video is for Friday, the next day, Friday, March 27. As usual, before we start, have you done the previous exercise? Huh? Haven't done? If you haven't done, you can copy the link and you do the previous exercise first. Because for today's exercise, I am going to review about reported speech. And on the link below and the previous exercise, the two previous exercise, I also explain about reported speech. Okay, so make sure that you do the previous exercise first. If you have done, let's see. If you haven't done, skip this video first and do the previous exercise first. For today, we are going to review about reported speech. You see there is a table and there are tenses. If we put it into direct speech form, and then we also put, if the direct speech we change into reported speech, becomes what? Okay, let's see from present simple. Yeah, present simple is verb 1. I like ice cream. Yeah, I like ice cream. You see what changes in the sentence in the reported speech? She, I become she. She said she like becomes liked. Present continuous, I am living in London. She said, again I becomes she, ya. So the subject please you change and then also the verb. If present continuous becomes past continuous. Am living becomes was living. If they using was living or were living. Were living. Past simple, I bought a car. She said she bought verb 2. Verb 2 becomes past perfect. Had verb 3. Had past participle. She had bought a car. Past continuous, I was walking along the street. Was walking becomes, if past continuous becomes past perfect continuous. Yeah, had been walking. Was becomes had been. Yeah, was or were becomes had been, and then walking remains. She had been walking along the street. If present perfect, I haven't seen Julie. Haven't seen, have becomes had. Present perfect becomes past perfect. Same as past simple. If past simple becomes past perfect, right? Had and then past participle. If present perfect, also have or has, verb 3 is present perfect, the pattern for present perfect. And if we change into past perfect, had and then verb 3, yeah, same as past simple we change into past perfect. Nah, past perfect remains. Yeah, I had taken English lessons before. She said you only have to change the pronoun or the subject. Will becomes what? Will becomes would. I'll see you later. She said she would see me later. If would remains. If can becomes could. I can speak perfect English. She said she could speak perfect English. Nah, pay attention to this example. She could speak, ya, not she could spoke or not she could spoken. Okay, if can becomes could and then after could, please you use verb one. Still use verb one. Not you change the verb after could becomes verb two. For example, she could spoke. No. Remains speak. She could speak. If I say she can do the exercise well becomes she said she could do. Yeah, not she could did or she could done. Could plus verb one. Okay. If could remains, yeah, I could swim when I was 4. She said she could swim. Next, if shall becomes shall becomes should, yeah, should or would. Okay, can be should, can be would. I shall come later. She said she would come later. And then should same. Should and might are same, remains. Okay, should and might don't change. For example, I could call my mother becomes she could call her mother. Nah, don't forget nih, my mother. Ya, because the subject is she, so my mother you adjust becomes her mother. I think you already know this lah. I might be late becomes she might be late. Not she might was or were late, ya. She might be late. Remember what I said before? After might, after should, after could, you follow with verb one. Okay. Nah, if must, I must study at the weekend. Must becomes had to. Ya, usually becomes had to, not must. So, I must study at the weekend becomes she said she had to study. Must becomes had to. There are some rules. Yeah, let's see. Change the pronouns and the verb. Change the pronouns and the verb. What I mean pronouns is the subject and also the object pronoun. Look at the example of should. I should call my mother. The subject is I. I becomes she. And then the object pronoun, the possessive pronoun. The possessive pronoun is my. My becomes her. Okay? Should and might don't change. I already explained this. Understand? See next table. Nah, if the direct sentence is question, we change into reported question. For example, where is the post office, please? And then we answer using ask, because that's a request, permintaan, permohonan. She asked me where the post office was. Remember, if reported question, we also put the question word where, what, who, how, which, and then if there is to be, like is, am, are, we switch with the subject. See the example. Where is the post office, please? The subject is post office, and then the to be is, right? And then if we change into reported, we switch the subject and the to be. Becomes where the post office is, we change into past simple, becomes was. I already explained in class loh, this one. Next, what are you doing? Becomes she asked me what I was doing. The subject change, you becomes I, and then are becomes was, because the tandem or the partner of I, if past simple, is was, and then doing remains. With that said, look, put again the question word: who, where, which, when, what, and how, and then change the subject, the verb, and the to be. For example, the first, the post office. Yeah, the post office you can change into it. Or what are you doing? You becomes I, the subject, and then the verb are are doing becomes was doing. Okay, and then erase do or does behind the question word. Erase do or does behind the question word. Nih, for example, where does she live? Where does she live? Di mana dia tinggal? Becomes she asked me, she asked me where she lived. Ya, not where did she live. No loh, ya. Do or does you erase and then you change, you erase and then in on that example, where does she live? Live verb one becomes verb two. If I say where did she live becomes what? Huh? Where did she live? Where she had lived. You also erase the did. Yeah. Where she had lived. If live with did, verb two, right? Past simple. Past simple we change into past perfect. So becomes where she had lived. Alright? Look at the third example. Who was that fantastic man? She asked me who that fantastic man had been. Was becomes had been. Was verb 2. Yeah, the to be of verb 2. Verb 2 becomes past perfect. Had been. Nah, also the final rules. Switch to be is MR or was were with the subject in reported speech. For example, is the post office, if the direct question is first and then the post office second, if we change into reported, we switch those two. So the post office first and then was. Understand, yeah? Okay. If direct questions without question word, for example, do you love me? Okay. Do you love me? Okay, that's weird. And then if we change into reported questions becomes he asked me if I loved him. If there is no if there is no question word, please put if. Look, look at those three examples. Is there any question word like who or which or where or how? No, right? If there is no question word and it is a direct question, please put if. Okay? Here. Put if after the pronoun. For example, he asked me if I loved him. Me is the pronoun, right? Me is the pronoun, and then you put if after the pronoun. And then also change the subject, the verb, and the to be. Same. Same with the previous slide. For example, you becomes I, alright, and then me becomes him. The pronoun you also change. Have you ever been to Mexico? She asked me if you becomes I. And then have, okay? Have been, yeah, have been becomes had ever been to Mexico. Also, erase do or does behind the question word. Do, look at the first example. Do, we erase. and then because do is verb 1, so we change love into loved. Also switch the to be is MR, was, were, and also have or has with the subject. Look at the second example. Have you ever been to Mexico? We switch. We switch have and you becomes I, and then we switch, right? In the direct question form, have first and then you. If reported question, I first, the subject first, and then had comes later. Understand? How about direct request? If we change into reported request, request is permintaan or permohonan. We already study about this. Please help me becomes she asked me to help her. Please don't smoke. She asked me not to smoke. Remember nih, if don't smoke, yeah, don't is negative. If negative, we change into reported not first and then to. Not to not. False that one. Wrong. Yeah. Not to first. Not and then to. Could you bring my book tonight? She asked me to bring her book that night. Okay. Example 4 and 5 you can read by yourself. Here is the pattern. The pattern of reported speech request is subject first, and then ask, and then object pronoun, plus not, plus to, yeah, not if necessary, and then plus base form, verb 1, plus object. Look at the example. She asked me to help her. She is the subject. And then using ask, me is the object pronoun, and then using to, yeah, to, and then you find which one is the verb in the direct request. For example, please help me. Please help me, which one is the verb? The best form. Please help or me. It's help, right? It's help, which is the verb. So please you put the verb, yeah, the verb, please don't change the verb. If you say she asked me to help with ed, wrong. That's wrong. Yeah, the verb still verb 1 or base form, and then using object her. Okay. How about direct order or direct order is perintah, direct command. Go to bed. He told the child to go to bed. Don't worry, he told her not to worry. Be on time, he told me to be on time. Don't smoke, he told us not to smoke. Okay, using told, yeah, different than request. If request, using ask. If order, using told. See the pattern? Subject plus told plus object pronoun again, and then plus to and not if necessary, plus base form, also plus base form. For example, he told the child to go to bed. He is the subject, told, and then object pronoun is the child, and then to, and then which one is the verb? Go to bed. Go. Go also you don't change. And then the object is bed. Understand ya? Okay, now this is additional. You see, if there is time complement, keterangan waktu in the sentence, for example like today, you see the table, today becomes that day, yeah, that day. Yesterday becomes the day before. Last night becomes the night before. Last week becomes the week before. Tomorrow becomes the next day or the following day. Okay, now another references. If you want another references, you can see your grammar book. Unit 11. And then from that link, that link is for the previous two exercise, the exercise that I have given to you last week. You can see I already explained how to change from direct into reported. If you have done, it's the time to do exercise. Okay, are you ready? Oke, see ya. Nah, there are 10. There are 10 questions, 10 direct speech that you have to change into reported speech. Please change those sentences into their reported speech forms. Okay? Only 10 numbers loh. 10 numbers. Usually if you do grammar, there are more than 10 numbers, right? More than 10 numbers. I only give you 10 numbers, you change into reported speech. If you if there are some numbers that you don't understand, you can rewind the video and you can listen to my explanation. Number 1 until number 10. Please do this on your book or on a piece of paper, that's okay. Please do this. Write only the answer ya. Only the answer. You can pause this video and then you answer the questions and you answer on your paper or on your book, on your notebook. 10 numbers. Okay, as usual, capture your work to my WhatsApp number as soon as possible. If flyers tuh only for loh ya, only for students loh who have submitted and captured their work. Only Nicholas, Chelsea, Angel Margaret, and Wilson. The others? The others? Why nih the others? If you haven't done the others, you do last week exercise lah. Yeah, maybe you haven't done all. I don't know why. Just skip this video lah if you haven't done the previous exercise. Yeah. If this exercise is not from book, right? Not from grammar book. The previous 3 exercises, there have been 3 exercises. Those 3 exercises are from workbook, class book, and grammar book. Do those 3 exercises first, then do this exercise. Okay guys, thank you for listening and watching to my explanation. Nah, if you don't understand also, for example, number 7 and number 6, number 7 or number 6 or whatever the number is that I have given to you, yeah, this one. If you don't understand, you can you can ask me. You can ask me to my WhatsApp number. Okay? Okay, guys. Thank you for listening and watching. Don't forget to stay safe and stay healthy. See you guys.